as well. And in a week where there are unimaginable off-the-field scandals in the National Football League, they have replaced last year's scandal in the National Football League. It was about a year ago at this time, maybe a little later in the calendar year in the football season, when everyone was talking about bullying in the locker room and Richie Incognito and Jonathan Martin and the story of the Miami Dolphins, which ultimately led to a report done by Ted Wells that seemed to shine a light on everything that had happened in Miami. And mostly the people who were directly involved in that are gone. The 5 starting offensive linemen from Miami have been replaced by 5 new starting offensive linemen. The coach is still there. Jonathan Martin is playing in San Francisco. Richie Incognito is out of the league right now looking to get back in. And Mike, Jim Turner was the Dolphins' offensive line coach. His name was all over the Wells report and all over so many of the different stories and allegations. And his is a side of the story that to this point has really not been heard.
No, it hasn't. And so Jim has come up here to ESPN and wanted to sit down and chat for a while and give his version of it. I know, Jim, you want to get back into coaching without a doubt. That's what you do. Yep. You're a coach and you're out of it right now. But before we go to that, let's just go back and look at this situation. And I guess first and foremost, I know what it says here. It says the head trainer and O-line coach fired for poor judgment. Yeah. What were you told? When you were fired, what were you told?
I was told, as a result of the report and what was found in the report, that I was going to be terminated. And it was a short conversation, and that was it. And I saw just from the way that the report, just the way that the investigators began to ask questions in my second interview, I realized that things weren't going to be, go well for me at that point, Well,
Jim, let's go back to the beginning, if we can. In your view, why did everything that happened happen? Why did, at the end of the day, Jonathan Martin slam down his lunch tray and walk out of the Dolphins facility that day?
Okay, and I think there's lots of reasons why that happened. And again, when I speak about this, okay, I'm speaking from my view, what I saw, and that's really my only vantage point. And what happened to Jonathan Martin in Miami, the way I saw it was, he was under heavy scrutiny for the way he was playing ball. He was struggling. We moved him from left tackle to right tackle. I walked him through it. I tried to help him through it. So he basically took it as a demotion, which it basically is, I guess. In his brain, it was bigger than in anyone else's brain, okay? And he was demoted, and he walked off the job. So, when you look at the relationship between Richie Incognito and John Martin, I never, ever, not one time did I see any dissension amongst those guys. I saw brothers. I saw best friends. And then when you look in the report, the Wells report, there's so many pieces to that Wells report that really back what I'm saying right now. There was 1,300 text messages between the two of them. They interviewed everybody in our locker room. Not one guy in the locker room said he saw any problem between the two men. Inseparable, big brother, little brother, the best of friends. Those are some of the quotes from the locker room. The second thing about John Martin was, as I went through after I was fired, before I was fired, I was doing my job. So I didn't really have a chance to really take a look and see what was going on. I had to do my job. I had to try and win football games. And so then when I got a chance to sit and read the report, all of a sudden I see 1,300 text messages, all the thing I just said. And then I see the lifestyle that John lived. As I sat there with those men in my room, I saw a brotherhood amongst him and all the other players. I never saw it between him, Mike Pouncey, John Jerry. They were friends, and they were good friends. And then as I read that report, it clearly shows that John Martin's one of the boys. They all go out to the clubs together. John Martin repeatedly seeks out Richie Incognito's company. That's a quote from the report. They were the best of friends. In 2013, they were so close that John Martin told Richie Incognito about some of his emotional difficulties and his suicidal tendencies. So nothing fits for me that way. John Martin complained about, that people were busting others' chops about homosexuality and things like that. But yet when you look at the text message between him and Richie, he's using the same vulgar language that he condemns. He's bashing women and bashing homosexuals. He's involved in a prank where him and other players go and steal another player's car. My point, he's one of the boys. It's that simple. And then if you're sitting in my chair, okay, so as I see all these things coming at me, I haven't seen any of this. I haven't seen any problem amongst these guys. When I'm reading it, it is what I thought it was. I figured, you know what, maybe there was a problem. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I made a mistake. So I'm going to study this report. So when I got fired, I sat in there for 2 months and I dug into that report. And then as I'm reading it, obviously I know he never approached me because he never approached me. But then I see that he admits that he never approached anybody in the building. He doesn't approach me, the offensive coordinator, the head coach, the life skills coach, the chaplain, the general manager, any number of people that this man could have approached. He doesn't approach one guy. And he didn't approach me. Let me rephrase that. He did approach one guy. Like I said, in 2013, he got so close to Richie that he told Richie about his issues. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And then as I continue to read, okay, what do I see? I see that not only does he not approach me, but his quotes, I was not fully candid with Coach Turner. I intentionally did not tell Coach Turner about his problems, okay? And the reason that he said that is he did not want to jeopardize the team's willingness to let him play. So if you're sitting in my chair, how am I possibly, if that kid doesn't approach me, he doesn't approach anyone in the building, he looks like one of the boys, he comes to work every day. This crew worked as hard as any crew I've ever been around. And when I was sitting in that room, it was a great room. It was a great room. I loved it. And Richie Incognito was a big part of that great room. He was a kid that was trying to turn his life around. And when you sit there as a coach, I don't pick the players. So my thing is this, and this is my philosophy as a coach. When I sit in that chair and you put those players in my room, I'm going to treat them like my son. Whether he's Richie Incognito or whether he's John Martin, it didn't matter to me. I loved them both. And, and so the way it all went down that way, as I read that report, it just, both of those men admit, the fifth point, both of those men admit that Jim Turner was not there for the bulk of any insulting comments, and any ones that he would have heard, okay, he wouldn't have understood the context anyways. That's coming from Richie and John. And all the offensive linemen that we interviewed in the room all said the same thing. Turner wasn't involved in any of that. But the report was pushing toward, Turner knew. It was the same locker room that I've seen everywhere I've been.